Lately I've been thinking about life and stuff. Like, what is life about? Like, somebody's not smart, somebody doesn't have the knowledge of how to cook. You could put food in front of them, they don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? So really, knowledge is really important. Knowledge, the things that you know, it's really important. So it's like the best thing somebody can do is educate themselves. But the thing is, we people, like, we sit there, it's like there's a system built that we sit there just jumping into it and following it, which is, hey, to educate yourself you need to go to a school or something. When that's not true. I mean, education, you do it on your to educate yourself, you just have to want to, the desire to do so. You could do it yourself because you go to the school, you're still doing it on your own. Because when you go to college, the teachers give you the text to go read. They give you the chapters to go read. It's just like they force you. You know what I mean? We sit there paying attention to the grades. It's like, oh, I don't want to fail, so I'm gonna go study. No, you should be like, I want to study because I want to educate myself. You know what I mean? You could do it on your own. It's like that's why a lot of times I feel like school is like a waste of money. Because all you're going to do is something that you could have done on your own, which is read. You get the textbook. All that knowledge is found in the textbook. That's why they tell you to read. You can't learn nothing by just like saying, "Hey, learn." You know what I mean? It's like some magical shit. You have to spend the time reading. You go to school, you're reading. You're paying somebody to force you to read a couple of chapters, and then they reward you with a grade, which makes no damn sense. Because at the end of the day, they could pass you, but if you didn't retain all the information, really, you go get a job or something. You're not gonna keep the job because they're gonna be like, "Yo, you stupid. You don't know anything." You feel me? So really, life or whatever, it's all about your mentality, your brain, what you know, the shit determines what type of mentality you have, how you view the world based on what you know. So really, everybody should spend their time educating themselves because that's really important. Without an education, you're not educated. You're gonna sit there. You know what I mean? Like another video I did was talking about how people like in third world countries like Haiti, they still view people who's white like they're very special, more special than them, which is like thoughts that you would think that people back in the days of slavery would think like, and it's like 2015, people are still thinking that way. It's like the education level, what you know, the mentality, it's not there. So really educate yourself. Education is really important. They say that 1,000 times, but people are gonna think it's corny. You know what I mean? Like if you're not smart enough, you can't play basketball. You need to educate. You need to know things in order to function. And your brain, that's what controls everything. Everything you do, you move your arm. All the information comes from your brain. Your head is like the brain is the main control of everything. Everything you do is in your head. That's why it's like I like boxing, but I never wanted to fuck with it. And you look at that movie Concussion that was put out talking about football. If you pay attention to the doctors and stuff, you'll realize like, yo, your brain is really important. It's like all the hits your brain takes, it affects you. And that's what like the whole concussion, whatever the problem with the NFL. It's like these guys are hitting each other's head. You know what I mean, you get a little dizzy. They tell you, hey, get some Gatorade, you'll be fine. Get back in there. You know what I mean? It's like all these hits and all these players, they end up, when they get a little older, when they're not in the limelight anymore, that's when, all that problem comes in. They can't remember shit because they've been shaking their head so much. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you ever drop your cell phone and that shit start malfunctioning because of the hit, the vibration and all that? Well, it's like everything is created after, and you know how the Bible said everything is created in God's image. Everything we create is made like with in that same mentality, like in our image. The cell phone functions just like we do. You know what I mean? The cell phone functions just like we do. You drop the cell phone a couple of times, the memory will be shot or something for a little bit. Every time certain things don't work, we tend to smack it for it to work. Well, it's just like the same thing as human beings. We just the same way. Like that control center is the brain, so it's really important. It's what dictates what we do, where we going, and all that. You have all that shit in your head. So when you use your head, you know what I mean? You use your head, you learn stuff, you read stuff. The more you know, the better. You'll be better off than somebody who's not educated. Like if you don't know anything, you'll see a snake, you know what I mean? You'll get bitten by the thing. You'll touch poison ivy. But somebody who's smart, who's educated, they know, hey, no, that's poison ivy. Oh, that snake, that's venomous. I'm not touching that. Like that's deadly. So education is really important to know what to do in certain situations, know how to act, what your reaction should be like. So I strongly, think everybody should educate themselves. If school wasn't expensive, man, I would have probably stayed in school my whole life just to learn. I don't want to learn because there's a pressure. Oh, I want a grade. I want to learn just to know the things. That's why I always hated taking tests and all that other stuff. It's like I just want to learn, have the thing be interesting. Like when they sit there talking about epicenter of whatever an earthquake, and I was like, oh shit. I remember learning that in school. Oh wow, that's cool. Now is the time I could use it. Now I could understand what they're saying. But before when I was learning, I was like, man, I don't need this shit. But really, like, yo, life is about education, about what you know, your mentality, and all that. So everybody should be reading. Everybody should be trying to get as much information as they can, put in their head to function. And it's how your mentality determines, what you end up being in life. You keep being negative, you know, your life is not going to turn out to be the best. You're always going to be unhappy with things. But there are people that are always like smiling, always whatever situation, they're always smiling because they always seek the positive in everything. And then other people will look at them like, yo, why are you so happy? Or this person is always happy. Their life must be perfect. It's like, no, they just seek the positive thing out of everything. Everything that happens to them, they look for the positive in it, which is a good thing. You'll live happy. You'll live better, less stress. As you're always, unhappy with things not working your way and stuff, like, yo, you're going to be stressing your whole life. And that shit is going to kill you. Well, it's amazing what the brain does. Like I was watching some interview on YouTube, these guys who were shot, and they were like, yo, like when I was getting shot, it was like a out of body experience. And it's funny because I watched multiple interviews, and they don't know each other like that, and they all give like the same response. It's an out of body experience. I don't know how to explain it. When they started shooting, it was like I was out of my body and stuff. Like I saw myself getting shot, or they was like, oh, I didn't even feel the bullet. It's like my brain was just it did something where it's like I didn't even feel the bullets at all. And it's funny because it's like your brain, like they were saying, I'm like, yo, your brain is capable of a lot of stuff that's crazy. But imagine if you were able to control those. A lot of things happen, the brain does, it's just like a reaction where it does these things to save your life, but it's just like imagine if you were in control. You could control when that happens. That would be amazing. Because the brain it does so many things. Like when there's a fire, that adrenaline rush that it sends throughout your body. Like I was watching some other show. They were talking about how when there's a fire and people run away, and what's the reason that you pee on yourself when you get scared, and it was basically like your body's trying to get rid of like the extra weight to help you to get out of there. It's the same way when a plane is about to go down or it's in danger of crashing down, and the pilot decides to let go of extra load. You know, it's just that same idea. and our body uses it, which is in the plane we created that. So it's like everything is created after us. What would we do in certain situations and stuff like that? So I thought that was pretty cool. And these guys talking about it. These guys were not dudes that went to school for neurology or nothing like that. They're regular street dudes who experienced something, and they was like, yo, that's pretty dope. Like, I didn't feel the bullets because my body, it just, my brain did something. I didn't feel it, this and that. It's just all these things that happens, and you're not in control. But it's like, imagine you were in control. You could control that feeling. Because it's there. The thing is there. It's in your brain. It's there. Your brain does all these things for survival. How your body could be like on standby, right? If you're hungry, you don't have food, you could be like on standby. Like another time I thought about, how the body is like us humans, the way we function. We notice all that shit in the technology that we create. Like I work with this guy, he caught like a seizure. But he was just like standing there, you hear his teeth grinding, and he's just staring into space, and it's just like, whoa. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yo, that's just like a cell phone, right? Because it's the brain that just stopped it's like the brain stops functioning. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, yo, that's just like a cell phone. How you're using the cell phone and the shit just freezes. It stops whatever you're doing. It stops. It can't do nothing else. You click, you do all this, it doesn't respond. And we were talking to the guy, we're like, hey, are you okay? He's not responding. He's just staring. And I'm like, yo, that's just like a fucking cell phone, just like a computer. The shit just freezes. It's like having a seizure. It's like you freeze. And it's just like, yo, that shit is pretty dope if you really think about it.